How's it going, guys? So today I wanted to talk about 7 things that I absolutely love about my 2008 Saab 9.3 Turbo X. Truth be told, this is of course a car that I love very much. This is my dream Saab. This is the Saab that I've always wanted since I fell in love with the brand. So of course, with that being said, so let's go ahead and get right into it. The first being the sound. This car has a turbocharged V6 motor. If you've been following the channel for the past handful of months, you'll know that this car does not have a stock exhaust on it. It actually has, well, when I bought the car, it had a rear muffler delete, and it now has, to go along with that, a Corona downpipe and a Corona midpipe. And I'm going to go ahead and, I'm just going to let it speak for itself. I'll put a handful of clips in of the exhaust montage I did. If you want to see that full montage, go ahead and click up in one of these corners. I'm going to shut up and let you guys listen to the sound of this car. Second thing that I love about this car is the performance. Of course, this is not the fastest car out there. This is not going to get you to 60 quicker than a Tesla. This car is not, it's not that fast, but it's good. The price that you get these for, these offer really good performance. So from factory, this car makes about 280 horsepower and just a tad under 300 foot-pounds of torque. Throw that in with all-wheel drive, or what Saab calls their cross-wheel drive, it helps get the car off the line so quickly. So as I mentioned, this car does have some modifications. Like I just said, the Corona downpipe, the Corona midpipe. It also has a DO88 intercooler and full charge pipes. It also has a tune. So when I took this car to the dyno, it of course made more power than factory. When estimated at the crank after getting the wheel numbers, it makes around 320 crank horsepower and about 375 crank torque foot-pounds. So this car, for what it is, it's got plenty of power. I have a lot of fun with it. I mean, it's the fastest car I've owned. It's not going to beat out a Corvette or something like that, but these cars will surprise a lot of people. I have beaten a fair amount of cars that you think would be quicker than this, and it's kind of fun to see people's reactions and to beat them. So the next thing that I absolutely love about this car are the looks. There's just so many things about this car that I love, whether it be the unique Turbo X wheels, the looks as a whole, the aggressive looks on the rear, the Turbo X lip spoiler, the exhaust, the rear diffuse. I mean, there's just so many little things about this car that make it look so good. And from the rear, it might not look like a new car today, but from the front is where I absolutely love this car. The front of this car looks like it could still be new by today's standards, especially when you throw in things like the LED lights, which back in 2008, there were just about 0 other cars that had anything like that. But if you don't think that this is a good looking car, then you might be blind. Next up is the interior, specifically the seats and stuff like the steering wheel and the carbon fiber and stuff like that. So the seats in this car, my dad has a 9.5 Aero, and I've said this before on the channel. I like the 9.5 Aero seats better than these Turbo X seats, but I mean, I'm just nitpicking really. These are still great seats. I love these seats so much. When I drive the normal 9.3 or something that doesn't have as supportive seats as this, I really miss them. I absolutely love them. And of course you have the Turbo X steering wheel. This steering wheel is probably the softest and just comfiest steering wheel that I have ever had in a car. While I'm still on the interior, this car does not have the optional nav. I do have a nav head unit to put in here, which will probably come hopefully sometime soon once I have the time to do it. The sound system in this car is pretty solid too. Of course, it's got an aux cord. That's really all I care about. And I do really like the carbon fiber trim on certain areas too. Just helps make it look more unique and special. And that brings me to the next thing that I love about this car, which is the uniqueness and the rarity. So I'm sure some of you have heard this little mini spiel before, but the Turbo X was only produced for the 2008 model year. There were 2,000 of them total made. Of those 2,000, only 600 of them are in the US. Of those 600, 211 of those are manual sedans like this one. So let me put it this way. In the entire state of Arizona where I live, there are 2 other Turbo X's besides this one. One of them is an automatic sedan, and one of them is an automatic sport combi. So it's pretty cool that I have one of only 3 Turbo X's in this entire state, and also that I have the only 6-speed manual one. I don't know, I just love that. Those of you who live on the east coast of the United States or in Sweden, I'm sure that you guys see these every now and then on the road, but I have literally never seen another one on the road, with the exception of when I met up with the Sport Combi owner and filmed that video with him. The next thing that I love about this car is the reliability, oddly enough. I've only owned this car for 4,000 miles, so I can't speak a ton on long-term reliability of these cars and these motors, but from what I've seen online and from what I've experienced myself, I can say that these cars are reliable. And of course, there's the huge misconception out there that I've talked about before, that Saabs are garbage, they're not reliable, blah blah blah. The Turbo X, the Aero, even the Arcs, the 4-cylinders, are just as reliable. Now of course they're not perfect cars, but they do have their flaws. But they are overall, I think that they are very reliable cars, and I think a lot of owners of these cars would agree with me on that. The 7th thing that I love about this car brings me to the trunk, and that is the practicality of it. So last night I went Black Friday shopping and I bought a pretty good sized TV, and it fit in here with no problem. I probably could fit 2 or 3 of them in here easily, and then some other stuff. But I just have, you know, a couple boxes in here right now. But this trunk is plenty large enough to fit anything that you would need for a weekend trip or anything like that. Of course, the back seat, while not as big as the 9.5, is still big enough to seat 5 adults. This is of course where I have my seat. You can see that there is still enough leg room for someone the size of me, 6 feet tall, to sit right behind there. So I guess to sum this all up, really the biggest reason why I love this car, outside of it being a Saab, is because it can do everything. When I had my Arc, sure, I loved that it was a Saab, you know, I loved certain things about it, but it wasn't really that fast. I knew that there was better things out there, better Saabs out there, more unique, more special Saabs. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is this car offers everything. It has the uniqueness, it has the power, it has the practicality, it has the daily drivability, it has the reliability, it has everything that you would want in a car all jammed into one. And while it's not the best necessarily every single one of those categories, it's pretty good in all of them, in my opinion. So with that being said, guys, if you're still tuned into this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and also comment below your favorite thing about the Turbo X. What is the thing that you love most about this car? So that being said, that's it for today, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.